On a gravel path somewhere in North America, a small bird suddenly collapses. One wing drags across the ground. Its body tilts awkwardly. It cries out as if wounded, helpless, and almost too easy to catch. A fox, raccoon, or curious human moves closer. The bird stumbles away, just slowly enough to keep attention on itself. It looks injured. It looks vulnerable. It looks like a perfect target. But a few meters away, hidden on the ground, there is a nest. Eggs. Chicks. The real thing the bird is protecting. And then, the moment the predator has been pulled far enough away, the miracle happens. The broken wing heals instantly. The dying bird rises into the air and flies away. This is the famous broken wing display of birds like the killdeer, a species found across Canada and North America. To the predator, it looks like weakness. To the nest, it is protection. To us, it looks almost like theater. But that raises a disturbing question. Is the bird pretending? Or are we only imagining a performance where there is really just instinct? Humans like to believe deception belongs to us. We lie with words. We hide intentions. We create false stories inside other minds. To deceive, it seems, you must know the truth, and you must know that someone else does not know it. So when a wild animal acts injured to pull a predator away from its nest, what is really happening? Is it a biological reflex, triggered automatically by danger? Or is there, somewhere inside that small wild mind, a tiny understanding that the predator can be misled? The answer is not simple. And that is what makes it fascinating. Scientists call many of these behaviors tactical deception, actions that appear to manipulate what another animal sees, believes, or does. But proving intention is difficult. We can observe the performance. We can measure the result. We can see the predator being pulled away from the nest. What we cannot easily see is the inner experience of the animal doing it. Still, the animal kingdom is full of behaviors that look uncomfortably intelligent. To understand them, we need to start with metacognition. Metacognition means thinking, boat thinking. In humans, it is the feeling of knowing when you know something and knowing when you do not. You use it every day. When you skip a question because you are unsure. When you check your phone because you cannot remember the time. When you say, "I'm not confident enough to answer that." For a long time, scientists thought this ability might be uniquely human. But experiments with animals complicated that idea. Rhesus monkeys, for example, have shown that they can respond differently when they are uncertain. In some tests, they choose safer options or seek more information when they do not seem to know the answer. Similar uncertainty-like behaviors have been studied in other species too, including apes, rats, pigeons, and dolphins. This does not mean animals sit quietly and think, "I am experiencing uncertainty." That would be too human. But it does suggest something important. Some animals are not simply reacting to the outside world. They may also be monitoring something inside themselves. A gap. A doubt. A missing piece of information. And once an animal can track what it knows, another question appears. Can it track what another animal knows? That is where deception becomes truly interesting. Because the deepest kind of deception is not just hiding. It is shaping the mind of someone watching. One of the strongest examples comes from ravens. Ravens are common across much of Canada, and they are among the most intelligent birds on Earth. They solve problems, remember individuals, use social information, and hide food for later. But hiding food creates a problem. Other ravens are watching. A raven with a piece of meat may dig a small hole and store it. But if another raven sees the hiding place, that cache may be stolen later. So ravens change their behavior. If they know they have been watched, they may return and move the food somewhere else. They may cache more carefully. They may pretend to hide food in one place while keeping the real food for another location. This is not random panic. It depends on social information. Who was watching? What did they see? Do they know where the food is? The raven behaves differently when another mind may contain dangerous knowledge. That is the beginning of something that looks very much like perspective. Not necessarily human theory of mind. Not a raven silently saying, He believes the meat is under that moss, but something close enough to make the old wall between humans and animals feel lower. The raven acts as if the knowledge of another animal matters. And in the wild, that can be the difference between eating and starving. Squirrels show similar tricks. A squirrel burying food may perform false caches when it senses it is being watched. It digs. It presses its face to the ground. It covers the spot. But sometimes, there is no food there. The real food is hidden later, somewhere safer. Again, we should be careful. The squirrel may not be lying in the human sense. It may not possess a full inner model of another mind. But the behavior still does something powerful. It creates false information in the observer. It uses performance as protection. That is deception as survival. And this is where self-awareness enters the story. In 1970, psychologist Gardun Gallup developed the mirror test. An animal is marked on a part of its body it cannot normally see, then placed in front of a mirror. If it uses the mirror to investigate the mark on its own body, scientists take that as evidence of mirror self-recognition. Some animals have shown versions of this ability, including great apes, dolphins, elephants, and magpies. But the mirror test is not perfect. Failing it does not mean an animal has no self-awareness. Some species may not care about visual marks. Some rely more on smell, sound, or touch. A dog may not understand itself through a mirror because a dog's world is not built mainly from sight. Still, the test matters because it points toward a deeper question. Does the animal know where its body ends and the world begins? Does it understand that it is one individual among others? Because deception lives in that space. Me. You. What I know. What you see. What I must hide. What I want you to believe. The wild may be full of tiny performances built on that boundary. A bird pretending to be injured. A raven pretending to cache food. A squirrel making a fake hiding place. A prey animal freezing until the last possible second because movement would reveal the truth. These are not moral lies. They are not evil. They are strategies. In human society, deception can feel corrupt because it breaks trust. But in the wild, deception is often not corruption. It is armor. A weak animal cannot always fight. A small animal cannot always outrun. A parent cannot always defeat a predator. So evolution creates another option: mislead. Distract. Hide. Perform. Make the enemy look in the wrong direction. That does not make the animal dishonest in the human sense. It makes the animal alive. And yet, the philosophical mystery remains. What does it feel like from the inside? What is the qualia of deception in a raven? Does the raven experience tension when watched? Does it feel something like suspicion? Does it know that another bird knows? Or is the entire behavior a sophisticated pattern running beneath conscious awareness? We do not know. We may never know completely. We can track the caching. We can film the false display. We can measure choices and experiments. But the inner texture of another species remains partly closed to us. That closed door should make us humble. Because again and again, the things humans once claimed as uniquely ours keep appearing elsewhere. Tool use. Grief. Empathy. Self-recognition. Uncertainty. Deception. Not always in the same form. Not always with the same depth. But often clearly enough that we can no longer pretend animals are just machines wrapped in fur, feathers, and skin. A killdeer dragging its wing across gravel may not be acting like a human actor. A raven moving its cache may not be plotting like a human thief. A squirrel making a fake hole may not be lying like a person. But each of them is doing something profound. They are managing attention. They are shaping behavior. They are using the mind of another creature as part of their survival strategy. So the next time you see a wild animal behave strangely, do not dismiss it too quickly. The limping bird may not be broken. The raven may not have hidden food where you think. The squirrel may not have forgotten what it buried. And the animal looking back at you may not simply be reacting. It may be reading you. testing you, predicting you, trying to move your attention away from what truly matters. In the wild, deception is not a fall from innocence. It is evidence of intelligence under pressure, a mind trying to survive inside another mind's blind spot. And maybe that is the most unsettling truth. The forest is not only full of claws, teeth, and hunger, it is full of performances. Small scripts written by evolution. And somewhere behind those eyes, something is watching. The watcher.